All right, so today we're diving into something pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health's IT Services contract.
NIOSH.
NIOH.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
Yeah.
But we've got their statement of work.
Oh, very cool.
And we're going to be kind of looking at how they're approaching IT modernization.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's really quite remarkable.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to make their IT system as agile and as responsive as a rapid response team.
Well, that's really the name of the game these days, isn't it?
It is.
It's all about speed and agility, especially in a world where tech is constantly evolving.
Yeah, and one of the things that really jumped out at me was their emphasis on concurrent sprints.
Yes.
So imagine like 2 or 3 teams working at the same time on different IT projects,
Yeah.
all kind of in these short, focused bursts to deliver results quickly.
Working in parallel.
Yeah.
Almost like
Pretty amazing.
like a tech startup.
It's kind of like how a tech startup would operate, not a government agency.
Right. And I think that's one of the things that's so fascinating about this contract is it's a departure from that traditional, often slower-paced government contracting model.
Yeah.
And they're really embracing this idea of being much more dynamic and responsive in their approach.
So what is it about NIOSH's work that is demanding this kind of speed and agility?
Well, their core mission is protecting workers from occupational hazards,
Yeah.
promoting safe and healthy workplaces.
Right.
And in order to do that effectively, they need an IT infrastructure that can keep pace with the latest technologies and threats.
So it's not just about, upgrading computers and software.
Right.
It's about building a foundation that can really support their critical mission.
Exactly. A modern, efficient IT system is essential for everything they do.
Yeah.
From research and data analysis to communication and outreach.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they've got boots on the ground all over the place.
Yeah.
They're in workplaces, they're in labs, they're, all over the country. So having that really robust IT infrastructure is absolutely mission critical.
So let's dig a little deeper into this whole concurrent sprints concept.
Yeah.
How does that actually work in practice?
Okay, so picture this. You've got specialized implementation squads,
Okay.
each one with the expertise needed to tackle a specific IT challenge.
Right.
So while one squad might be focused on cybersecurity,
Uh-huh.
another could be migrating data to the cloud.
Okay.
And these are all happening at the same time.
So it's not a linear step-by-step approach.
Nope.
They're tackling multiple aspects of IT modernization concurrently.
It's parallel processing. It's very ambitious.
It's a very ambitious approach.
But it allows them to be so much more responsive and adaptable.
Okay.
They can adjust their priorities and resources as needed, depending on what's most urgent
Right.
or impactful at any given time.
So another thing that really stood out in this contract was the emphasis on what they call immediate gains.
Yes.
What's the thinking behind that?
Well, you've earmarked immediate gains as a priority. That tells me you're looking for demonstrable wins early on,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps to showcase the value of this modernization effort to stakeholders.
Yeah.
It's a smart move, especially in government, where demonstrating ROI is key.
So it's about proving the concept and building momentum early on.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
But it's not just about quick wins.
Right.
They're also planning for larger, longer-term projects like cloud migrations.
Okay.
And they're stressing the importance of cost-benefit analysis.
Uh-huh.
It's about making smart strategic decisions that will benefit NIOSH in the long run.
So this all sounds incredibly innovative and exciting.
It is.
But are there any potential downsides to this kind of approach?
Well, managing multiple concurrent sprints effectively can be a challenge.
I can imagine.
It requires a high degree of coordination
Right.
and communication to ensure that all the moving parts are working in sync.
Yeah, I can see how things could get complicated quickly.
Exactly. There's a risk of things falling through the cracks or conflicts arising between teams. If the sprints aren't carefully managed,
Right.
that's why they're placing a strong emphasis on clear communication,
Yep.
rigorous project management,
Right.
and a willingness to adapt quickly when things inevitably change.
It sounds like they're going to need a dedicated team of project managers just to keep everything on track.
Absolutely. And those project managers will need to be highly skilled
Yeah.
and experienced in agile methodologies.
Yeah.
They'll be the glue that holds everything together.
So we've talked about the concurrent sprints and this focus on immediate gains.
Yes.
What other key tasks are outlined in this contract?
Well, there's a significant emphasis on consultative services.
Okay.
It's all about identifying those quick wins we discussed earlier,
Right.
while simultaneously planning for more complex projects.
Okay.
It's a dual approach that requires a unique blend of expertise.
So it's not just about doing the work, It's
Yeah.
about strategically guiding NIOSH through this entire modernization process.
Precisely. And they're not just focused on new technologies.
Right.
They're also committed to maintaining existing systems,
Oh,
ensuring a smooth transition.
yeah.
They're taking a very holistic approach, considering all aspects of their IT infrastructure.
And speaking of transitions, this contract is particularly interesting because we know that the incumbent contractor is Alpha 6 LLC,
That's right.
and their current contract is valued at over $100 million.
Wow.
So
That's a big number.
that's a big number.
Yeah. But it's important to note that this new requirement represents a significant reduction in scope,
Okay.
which means the total value is expected to be significantly lower.
So this might not be the mega deal that it appears to be at first glance,
Right.
but it's still a substantial contract and a great opportunity for companies with the right expertise.
Absolutely. And even though Alpha 6 is the incumbent,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean other companies shouldn't compete.
Right.
Under the current continuing resolution, almost every contract will have an incumbent.
Okay.
So companies shouldn't be discouraged by the fact that there's already a company in place. It's more important than ever to put your best foot forward.
Right.
Submit a strong proposal.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate the power of a well-crafted proposal that clearly articulates your understanding of NIOSH's needs,
Right.
your ability to deliver innovative solutions.
Any tips for companies looking to compete for this contract?
Well, working with experienced companies like Proposal Helper can be a game changer.
Okay.
They can help you navigate the complexities of government contracting, build a compelling proposal that showcases your strengths.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to the contract itself. You mentioned a focus on maintaining existing systems.
Yes, Task 3 of the contract is dedicated to annual system maintenance.
Okay.
And this is where we see the sheer complexity of NIOSH's IT environment.
Okay.
They're dealing with a vast array of technologies from Windows and Linux servers, cloud platforms, cybersecurity tools.
Right.
The list goes on and on.
It sounds like they need a team that's not only skilled in a wide range of technologies,
Right.
but also incredibly organized and detail-oriented.
Absolutely. They need to be able to anticipate problems, troubleshoot issues quickly,
Yeah.
and ensure that everything is documented and up to date.
And on top of all that, they have to be able to adapt to new technologies and threats as they emerge.
That's where Task 4 comes in, emerging needs and surge support.
Okay.
This option gives NIOSH the flexibility to call in additional sprint teams
Right.
if they encounter unexpected demands
Okay.
or need to ramp up their efforts quickly.
So it's like having a reserve unit ready to deploy when the situation demands it.
Precisely. It speaks to the dynamic nature of their work.
Yeah.
They might encounter a new cybersecurity threat,
Right.
need to implement a new technology quickly,
Uh-huh.
or face a surge in demand for their services.
Yeah.
This option ensures they can respond effectively.
This is starting to sound less like a contract and more like a strategic partnership.
I think that's a good way to put it. NIOSH isn't just looking for a vendor to execute tasks.
Right.
They're looking for a partner who can help them navigate the ever-evolving world of technology
Yeah.
and ensure that their IT infrastructure is always aligned with their mission.
It's a pretty tall order,
It is.
but it also sounds like a really exciting opportunity for the right company.
Absolutely. Welcome back. So we've talked a lot about what NIOSH is looking for in this contract.
Yeah.
But now let's take a closer look at how they plan to ensure success.
Yeah, because anyone can write a fancy contract, right?
Right.
It's the execution that matters.
Exactly.
What kind of mechanisms are in place to track progress and hold the contractor accountable?
Well, they've built in some really robust reporting requirements.
Okay.
We touched on the monthly reports earlier.
Right.
But it's worth emphasizing how detailed they need to be. It's not just a checklist of completed tasks,
Right.
but a deep dive into what was done, what challenges were faced,
Yeah.
and how they were overcome.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It gives NIOSH a real-time view of how things are progressing
Exactly.
and allows for course correction if needed.
And it also provides a valuable record of the work done,
Right.
which can be helpful for future projects, or even knowledge transfer during transitions.
Okay.
But it doesn't stop there.
Oh.
They also require semi-annual reviews focused on customer satisfaction and quality of service.
So they're actively seeking feedback from the people who are using the systems on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
That's a smart move.
It keeps the project aligned with user needs.
Yeah.
And ensures that the IT services are truly delivering value.
Right.
And to top it off, there will be annual status briefings
Okay.
for a high-level overview of the entire project.
So we have monthly reports, semi-annual reviews, and annual briefings.
It's like a lot.
Like a lot of reporting.
Yeah, but it really speaks to their commitment to making this project a success.
So it seems like they're really serious about transparency and accountability.
Absolutely. They want to make sure everyone is on the same page, that progress is being made,
Right.
and that any issues are addressed proactively.
It sounds like they're treating this as a true partnership, not just a transactional agreement.
I think that's a great observation.
Yeah.
It's clear they value open communication,
Not.
collaboration with the contractor.
And this collaborative spirit extends to how they're addressing inclusivity and accessibility.
Right. You're talking about the Section 508 compliance requirements.
Exactly.
Yeah. While it might seem like a basic requirement,
Wow.
it's worth highlighting because it showcases their commitment to ensuring that everyone, regardless of their abilities, can access and use these IT systems.
But how do they actually ensure that these systems are usable for everyone?
Well, in a scientific research environment like NIOSH, it's not just about providing alternative text for images or captions for videos.
Right.
It's about ensuring that complex datasets, analysis tools, research platforms are accessible to everyone, including those with disabilities.
So that adds a whole other layer of complexity to the project.
It does, but it's a challenge worth tackling. Yeah. When you create a truly inclusive IT environment, you unlock the potential of a wider range of talent and perspectives.
So it's not just about compliance then. It's about fostering a more diverse and inclusive workforce.
Precisely.
Which ultimately benefits everyone.
Exactly. And that brings us to another interesting aspect of this contract.
Okay.
The transition in and out plan.
Right. I was curious about that.
Yeah.
It's all about ensuring a smooth handover, whether it's to a new contractor or back to NIOSH at the end of the contract.
That's the gist of it.
Okay.
But remember, with a contract of this magnitude and complexity, there's always a risk of knowledge gaps or delays when transitioning responsibilities between teams.
Yeah, like trying to change a tire while the car is still moving.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So how do they mitigate that risk?
Yeah. How do they do that?
Well, the plan outlines a detailed schedule of briefings.
Okay.
And identifies specific individuals responsible for knowledge transfer.
Okay.
At both the beginning and end of the contract.
A structured approach to minimizing disruption.
Right.
Ensuring continuity of service.
It sounds like they're leaving nothing to chance.
Exactly. They're being very proactive in documenting processes, training staff, and ensuring that all the critical information is properly transferred.
And this focus on smooth transitions is especially important given the potential for a new contractor to take over from the incumbent Alpha 6.
Right. It highlights the importance of not only demonstrating technical expertise, but also showcasing a deep understanding of AOSHA's specific needs and culture.
So it's about building trust and demonstrating a commitment to being a true partner, not just a vendor.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about the reporting requirements, Section 508 compliance, and the transition plan.
Yes.
All of these elements seem designed to mitigate risk and ensure that this ambitious project stays on track.
They've really thought this through.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic, no plan is foolproof.
Right.
What are some potential challenges NIOSH might face as they implement this contract? That's a great question, and that's what we're going to explore next.
I'm ready.
While we've seen a lot of impressive planning and foresight, there are always unforeseen challenges that can arise in a project of this scope.
Always something.
So let's dive right into that. All right, so we've talked about all the great planning that's gone into this contract.
Yeah.
But, you know, as they say, no plan survives first contact with the enemy.
That's very true.
So what are some potential bumps in the road? What are some challenges that NIOSH might face as they implement this contract?
Well, one challenge we've touched on is managing those concurrent sprints effectively.
Yeah, those concurrent sprints.
It's like juggling multiple chainsaws.
Oh, boy.
It looks impressive if you can pull it off.
Yeah.
But it requires incredible skill and precision.
And I imagine communication is absolutely key to keep all those chainsaws spinning at the same time.
Absolutely. You've got multiple teams working on different projects, each with its own set of dependencies and deadlines.
Yeah.
Without clear and constant communication, things can quickly get out of sync.
So paint a picture for me what could happen if communication breaks down.
Okay, so imagine one team making a change to a system without realizing it impacts another team's project. Suddenly you have delays, conflicts, potentially even security vulnerabilities.
Oh, wow.
It's a recipe for disaster.
So you really need that strong project management framework to keep everything coordinated.
Absolutely. And those project managers, they'll need to be highly skilled in Agile methodologies.
Yeah.
Able to anticipate problems, resolve conflicts, and keep everyone informed and on track.
So those project managers are really going to be the unsung heroes of this whole project.
I think so.
Keeping all those chainsaws spinning.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so another potential challenge I see is the transition between contractors.
Yeah.
We know Alpha 6 is the incumbent.
Right.
But this new contract is going to attract other bidders.
For sure.
Could that create additional challenges?
Right. Definitely. Knowledge transfer is always tricky, especially when you're dealing with complex IT systems.
Right.
There's a risk of losing valuable institutional knowledge if the transition isn't handled carefully.
So how can IOH ensure a smooth transition, particularly if a new contractor comes on board?
Well, that detailed transition plan we discussed earlier is a good starting point. But it will be crucial to go beyond the paperwork.
Okay.
Foster real collaboration between the outgoing and incoming teams.
So it's not just about handing over documents.
No.
It's about facilitating that knowledge sharing.
Right.
The open communication between the teams.
Exactly. It might even involve some overlap.
Okay.
Where both teams work together for a period to ensure a seamless transfer of knowledge and responsibilities.
So really minimizing disruption.
Yes.
And making sure that IOH's IT operations continue smoothly.
Smoothly throughout the transition.
Yeah. I wonder if companies bidding on this contract should factor in those potential transition costs.
Oh, absolutely.
And complex.
Understanding the nuances of transitioning from an incumbent like Alpha 6 with their extensive history on the project is critical for any potential bidder.
Yeah. They need to really show that they understand what they're getting into.
Yeah, they need to demonstrate not just technical expertise, but also a solid plan for knowledge acquisition.
Right.
And a collaborative approach to the handover process.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about the people and the processes as well.
You hit the nail on the head.
Okay, so another challenge I'm thinking about is how do they balance those immediate gains?
Oh, that's a good one.
With long-term sustainability.
Yeah. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of delivering quick wins.
Right.
But it's important to make sure those wins don't come at the expense of the bigger picture.
It's like, focusing on putting out the small fires while neglecting that there might be a larger blaze down the line.
Exactly. For example, a quick fix to a software problem might create security vulnerabilities down the road.
Right.
Or a rushed cloud migration might result in data loss.
Right.
Or system instability.
So they really need to be strategic about prioritizing those quick wins.
Absolutely.
And make sure that they align with a long-term vision for their IT infrastructure.
It requires a delicate balance between tactical and strategic decision-making.
Right.
And they'll need to constantly evaluate those immediate gains against the potential long-term risks and costs.
And that brings us back to communication again.
Always back to communication.
Right. NIOSH needs to make sure that the contractor understands their long-term goals.
Yes.
And is making decisions that support those goals.
It's a partnership.
Not just focusing on the immediate deliverables.
That's right. Open and transparent communication is essential for building that shared understanding, ensuring everyone is working towards the same vision.
So we've identified some key potential challenges.
Yes, we have.
Managing those concurrent sprints, ensuring those smooth transitions, and balancing the short-term wins with that long-term sustainability.
A lot to think about.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about, and it requires a lot of careful planning, strong communication.
Yes.
And a commitment to adaptability.
But these challenges are not unique to NIOSH.
Right.
Any organization undertaking a major IT modernization project is going to face similar hurdles.
For sure.
The key is to be aware of these potential pitfalls. Develop strategies to mitigate them.
So it's like having a roadmap.
Yes.
But the roadmap has little signs that say, watch out for this detour.
Right.
Watch out for that sharp curve.
Exactly.
Yeah, the challenges might arise.
You're prepared.
But you're prepared to navigate them when they do.
That's a great analogy.
And the best way to be prepared is to learn from those who have gone before us.
Yes. Learn from the experience of others.
And that's why I think studying this NIOH contract is so valuable.
I agree.
It really is a roadmap.
It is a roadmap for IT modernization.
For successful IT modernization.
With its emphasis on agility, stakeholder engagement, and that balance between immediate gains and long-term sustainability.
It's been a fascinating deep dive.
I've really enjoyed it.
I think we both learned a lot about the complexities and possibilities of modernizing IT systems.
Especially within a large organization like NIOSH.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are so many moving parts.
And I hope our listeners have gained some valuable insights as well.
I hope so.
Whether you're working in government or the private sector, the principles and strategies we've discussed are applicable to any IT modernization project.
For sure.
So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology...
Which we all do. Yeah.
Which we all do, right?
Yeah.
Just remember that even the experts are constantly learning and adapting.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah, and we're all in it together.
We're all in it together. So stay curious, stay informed, and keep on diving deep.
Until next time.